3, 2. We're live. Hello. Hola. ¿Cómo estás? We are live. Oh boy. Wrong button. We're live.
Wow.
On the
Almost hit that
Freemasons.
note. And
now we've gone
Yeah. Built it. Shorty Joe.
Didn't mean to make you cry. I love that scene from what is it?
Wayne's World?
No.
that's my
GoldenEye. When James Bond is in the Russian club and she's singing "Stand by your man" in Russian.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, "Who's strangling the cat?" He goes, "Strangling the cat." And he goes, "Boom, boom, boom, boom." He goes, "That's my mistress, Melina." Lovely voice that woman has.
I saw a movie like that. It was called Brown Eye.
Oh, God.
What?
I don't even want to know.
It was on a different channel.
I just took a paper clip in the back of the cable box to get it. Oh, old school.
I remember those days.
All right.
We
ready?
I had my own tool with this really thick paper clip that had electrical tape on the back because I was convinced that if I wrapped it in electrical tape, I wouldn't get electrocuted if something happened.
Magical descrambler tool.
Yep.
Bohemian Grove.
Mama.
Legally distinct from Bohemian Rhapsody, by the way.
Bohemian Grove. Rich and powerful go to misbehave.
Freddie Mercury.
Dum, dum, dum. All right.
I wish we had some place that we could go to misbehave.
We do. It's called here in the podcast room.
Yeah, but we can't burn things in here.
Yeah, we can't pee on trees.
What the what?
We need to do any research on Bohemian
Yes, I
Grove
did.
whatsoever.
We need
I
to
just wanna make
preserve.
sure.
All right.
We need to preserve.
We ready?
We need to get some,
Yeah.
buy some land. Take our Patreon money and buy
Yes,
some
we
land. We can make it a retreat.
It's good to own
You
land.
need more Patreons than buy that freaking much land. All right. Ready, boys?
Yep.
All right.
Or somebody could leave it to us in their will.
Mm,
That would be nice.
You can trust.
All right.
You can't trust us.
As soon as my Facebook boots up. There we go. All right, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello and welcome to the Freemasons podcast with your hosts, Right Worshipful Brother George Mudry.
Worshipful Brother Joe.
And worshipful brother Kim.
We're up here. Today's episode is 144. We're going to be covering the Bohemian Grove. So, but let's get into some likes first. This is Facebook. And eventually what I'm going to start doing is, besides Facebook, I'm also going to start doing people who subscribe to our channel and tune in live. We're going to start calling them out by name because we appreciate the support. But here we go. We have Luke Dory, Nathan Cartwright, and Steve Sprott. So, brethren, I don't know if I filled my cannon.
I filled your cannon.
Thank you very much. Brethren, right hand to arms.
To arms.
Ready.
Ready.
Aim. Aim. Fire. Good fire. Fire all. Together, brothers.
Vivat, vivat, vivat.
All right. That's all I got.
That was better than the tickle.
Yes,
That was way better.
It was way better. All right. So we're going to get started on Bohemian Grove. Bohemian Grove is an event that occurs at Bohemian Grove. The Bohemian Grove is actually a state forest or state park or something like that.
I think it's wholly owned.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought I read it. It's let's see here.
It's kind of like nestled in parkland and so forth, but I think it's owned by the
By the Bohemian Grove Society.
the
Or
New
the
World,
Bohemian Society.
the
or
New
whatever.
World Airport Bohemian.
Oh, it is a
Consortium.
restricted. You're right. I'm
Owned by
pulling it up right now.
Lucifer.
It is a restricted 2,700 acre campground at 20,601 Bohemian Avenue in Monterey, California, in the United States, belonging to a private San Francisco-based gentlemen's club known as the Bohemian Club. In mid-July each year, the Bohemian Grove hosts a more than 2 week encampment of some of the most prominent men in the world and women.
Mhm.
I believe
Yeah, there was a big
Hillary
lawsuit.
Rodham is part of it.
Yeah, that might be a recent thing too, because there was a lot of
Right.
There was a
blowback
big
over that.
lawsuit that even went all the way up to the Supreme Court.
Oh, well. Bohemian Club, it says all male, but it's not. We know that now. Membership includes artists, musicians, as well as prominent business leaders, government officials, former U.S. presidents, senior media executives, and people of power. Members may invite guests to the Grove, so you don't have to be, you can be invited by somebody who is a member. Guests may be invited to the Grove for either the Spring Jinx in June or the main July encampment. I wonder if they're following COVID.
I would probably imagine so. I mean, these are very
sure they have
powerful people.
Really cool masks.
We've
Bohemian
got a
Club,
lot of acreage there to like socially distance within. Just saying.
fair.
Maybe they have like owl masks or something.
Bohemian Club members can schedule private day use events at Bohemian Grove at any time. It is not being used for club-wide purposes, and they are allowed at these times to bring spouses, family, and friends, although females and minor guests must be off the property by 9 or 10 p.m. So it's almost like, I guess, a hunting club kind of, or a land trust type club type thing in a sense, right? Similar,
kind of.
just without all the weird shit going on.
It's just like it, only different.
Yeah. I mean, I belong to kind of a club like that, but we don't
Right.
burn owl effigies and crap. So
No, just shoot 308, 556 and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
free seeds.
After 40 years of membership, the men earn Old Guard status, giving them reserve seating at the Grove's daily talks, as well as other PERQUISTIES
Prerequisites.
prerequisites. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Former U.S. President Herbert Hoover was inducted in the Old Guard in March 19th, 1953. He had joined the club exactly 40 years previously. Redwood branches from the Grove were flown to Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York City, where they were used to decorate a banquet room for the celebration. In his acceptance speech, Hoover compared the honor of the Old Guard status to his frequent role as a veteran counselor to later presidents. The club's motto is "Weaving spiders, come not here." What the hell?
Pretty much, they're saying, "Don't come here to network. Don't come here to cut deals.
No business.
No business. Leave all
okay.
that behind."
Okay.
Just like similar to masonry.
Also, the Old Guard, we called them the lifetime members, or the right 50-year
members of the
50-year
Grand
members.
Lodge, yeah.
Similar. We do 50 years. They do 40. Whatever. But it implies the outside concerns and business deals, networking, are to be left outside. When gathered in groups, Bohemians usually adhere to the injunction, although discussion of business often occurs between pairs of members. Similar.
Yeah, so you don't sit there and try to get together a group of people. But if Ken and I wanted to go have a little side conversation, we could.
I would say similar to Freemasonry.
Yeah.
Little
Happened
side
once in the 40s too.
What?
Did you come across that when the discussion of business was, that whole rule was kind of thrown out for
yes,
a couple
I did
weekends?
see that. A pretty big conversation. The Manhattan Project. That's
That's
what
right.
you're referring to, right?
Yep. There were enough people involved in that, from a defense and military and political standpoint, that those individuals got together and actually discussed that.
Which is actually funny because that was
project.
the next thing I was reading on. I just seen it. It said Manhattan Project. But no, thank you.
Yeah,
That's
no,
awesome. And it's basically said exactly what you said, that they pretty much put that aside to discuss the Manhattan Project.
Kind of like how we put that discussion of business thing aside in Freemasonry when it came to the American Revolution.
Pretty much.
A little bit.
One example was a former President Richard Nixon's comments from, wait a minute. Let me go back. Grove members take particular pride in the event and often relate the story to new attendees, talking about the Manhattan thing. Other behavior at the campground has led to numerous claims that even some parody in pop culture. One example was former President Richard Nixon's comments on May 13th, 1971, recording that the Bohemian Grove, which I attend from time to time, is the most faggy goddamn thing you could ever imagine. Jesus.
We're going to have to bleep that out.
That's pretty rotten. Yeah.
Tricky dick. Good old tricky dick.
That's some interesting shit from a man who got caught basically being a dirty crook.
Yeah.
I am not a crook. I am not a crook.
I mean, that was a pretty effed up thing to say.
Pretty much.
Back in the freaking
Yeah,
70s.
even back then, especially in a society like that where You know, it's one of those.
Right.
You would think that they're gentlemanly.
He probably got
and
kicked
I
out.
wouldn't talk
I would probably go
wonder
with
if,
yes.
Yeah, I wonder if
He was just bitter.
Probably.
So let's get into some of the things that they do. There's actually a video that was taken by our good friend in 2000. Him and his cameraman broke into the camp during the Cremation of Care. During that ceremony, members wear costumes and cremate a coffin effigy called Care before a 40-foot owl in deference to the surrounding redwood trees.
Deference. Yeah, so it's like they're kind of like worshiping the redwood forest by
And this owl thing
burning
is
a
pretty
coffin.
big. It's pretty cool. Look,
Yes.
it almost looks like the majority of it's a natural formation that they might have carved a face or something into, or the whole thing could be a natural formation. Who knows?
kind of like Burning
But
Man.
it's pretty cool.
So I want to dissect the cremation of the Cares, because this seems to be what the main focus is, that it's devil worshiping. And Alex Jones came out and said that they were worshiping what the hell's his name?
Baphomet. Yeah.
Baphomet and
Yeah.
all this crap. But we're going to break this down. And the way I broke it down, I think, on a prior episode is, imagine if somebody's coming up the road, right? And let's say that this particular man, we'll just throw it out, he's lost or drunk or whatever the hell, and he thinks he's walking into Drukanowitz's office. And let's just say he's confused. He's an older guy. We'll just say.
Okay.
We'll use this as an example. He's an older guy, and he thinks he's going to Dr. Drukanowitz, who's right next door. He's a fine dentist, if you're interested. And he's going into his place. But let's just say, it's Dr. Drukanowitz's last appointment, and we here at Morningstar decide to do a Master Mason degree a little bit earlier because it's a long degree.
Right.
Stick with me here. But rather than banging a left down the hallway, he bangs a right into the door, and then bangs a right into the other door because Tyler is Rocco and he's sleeping on the job or doing whatever he's doing. Opens the door, the lights are low, there's a dead guy on the floor, and a bunch of people standing around him with their hands over the top of him.
Yeah, that might freak some people
Might freak him out, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, and I'm not giving any Masonic secrets away. This is all stuff you can see on the History Channel. But imagine the story that he's going to tell when oh my God, I walked in there and the Masons killed a guy and they're all on top of him trying to raise him.
You take something out of context and
You take something out of
it
context.
almost doesn't even matter what it is. Like,
Right. And you're also going to formulate your own story of what you've seen. Most people will try to rationalize what they've seen. They'll try to understand it, even though they have no idea what the hell just happened.
So here I got one better for you.
Okay.
One that was you've seen a Scottish Rite degree. You're part of the Scottish Rite, and you've been down to the Stratford Theater. You've not, correct?
Nope, I am not Scottish Rite, so I'll plug my ears.
No, it's okay. There's nothing I'm
Underneath
giving
my
away.
headphones.
So Scottish Rite is very theatrical. There's these very theatrical costumes you wear for the degree, and we were actually doing the 32nd, and so you have a cast of probably 50 people, maybe more, maybe 100 people in costume. And where you get dressed is towards the back of the theater. And we needed to be in the lobby in the front of the theater. So we marched out the back of the building through the bank parking lot of that alley.
Yep.
So you have, again, at least 50 guys dressed in anything ranging from medieval costumes to, I still think of Harvey Harton, who's dressed as it's like a cardinal costume, but he looks like Carmen Sandiego because it's got the big red wide brimmed hat.
Right.
You got people carrying crosses. It's a public street. It's a main street in Stratford.
So I just would love to flip and I would love to be a fly on the wall.
Traffic is stopped. People
I would
just
love to be a fly on the wall.
What the hell is going on?
Some guy driving the road. Hey kids, you guys want? What the hell is that?
What's wrong with these people?
Yeah, it's pretty. It's
Right.
something. So again, my point is, if you don't know what's going on and you just see some of these things, it could be a little jarring.
Right. So from what the video that Alex Jones had gotten, he formulated his own opinion on it, and he started connecting dots that might not necessarily be there. And actually, there was another guy who also infiltrated it. But let's start with the comments that were the Bohemian Grove spokesperson called the ceremony a traditional musical drama celebrating nature in summertime. The spokesperson also said that while Jones' comments are inaccurate, the footage was real.
Mhm.
So the footage that Alex Jones took was actually real. Like, there's no doubt
Right.
about that.
Right.
But with no context,
But
you
with
have
no
no
context.
idea what you're looking
You
I've
have no idea
actually-
what you're looking at.
Have you actually seen the video?
I have, yes.
I have too. One of my
kinda blurry.
favorite parts of the video, and when he's trying to approach,
2000 technology, Ken.
Yeah,
well,
I know.
but he's also trying to get there in a kayak at one point, and he tips the freaking kayak over. And the freaking guy
Look at
over
the size of the guy.
I know.
I mean, I thought his ass was in shape back then. I mean, he was a younger man.
Me personally, if you'd have flipped the oh shit, I would have been pissing myself throughout the whole video. But, and another infiltrator, Spy Magazine writer Philip Weiss, posed as a guest for 7 days in 1989 when the waiting list was 33 years long and Inside the Grove had several thousand members. Holy shit.
Mhm.
Weiss published the article Inside Bohemian Grove, writing, "You know you are inside the Bohemian Grove when you come down a trail into the woods and hear piano music from amid a group of tents and then round a bend to see a man with a beer in one hand urinating in the bushes." Which sounds like a high school keg party to me.
I was just gonna say.
But see, when you're a full
What's that?
individual, like you don't get to go to keg parties anymore. People
Sure you
People are
do.
there with cameras. Well, in this particular case, this
I would-
guy had infiltrated. But I mean, you can't
I
like
would-
be yourself.
I would love to dissect that momentarily because how funny would that be? A guy comes on trail and you just hear, "Hey, I know I had a fucking cold one."
Yeah, that guy's like a secretary of defense or something.
It's Rumsfeld.
Yeah.
Who's that over there peeing on the tree? Oh, that's just Rumsfeld.
As long as it ain't Cheney, somebody might get shot.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
Dr. Fauci or something.
Mask on his forehead this
Mhm.
time. This is the most glorified in ritual of the encampment, the freedom of powerful men to pee wherever they like, a right that the club has invoked when trying to fight government anti-sex discrimination efforts, and one curtailed only when it comes to a few popular redwoods just outside the dining circle. All
Which means they can't pee on those particular trees, but they're welcome to do so pretty much anywhere else on the property.
All right.
right. Former President Bill Clinton, clearly a member of the Bohemian
Sounds
Club,
like the farm degree so far.
Right.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Once told a heckler, the Bohemian Club. Did you say the Bohemian Club? That's where all the rich Republicans go to stand naked against redwood trees, right? I've never been to the Bohemian Club, but you ought to go. It'd be good for you. You'd get some fresh air. That's hilarious.
He was looking for an invite.
So let's get into the Cremation of Cares. And what they basically do is, from what I've read about the Cremation of, let's see here. We'll get into the whole facilities and everything first, but I want to get right into the Cremation of Care. The Cremation of Care is a ceremony that is theatrical, production in which some of the club's members participate as actors, similar to the Scottish Rite degree.
Yeah.
It was first conducted in 1881. It's pretty cool.
Seems pretty cool.
The production was devised by James F. Bowman with George T. Bromley playing the high priest. Sounds familiar.
Okay.
It was originally set up within the plot of serious hijinks dramatic. I don't know what jinx means. Hijinks?
Hijinks is like
Not hijinks.
slapstick.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Shenanigans.
Yeah.
Okay. Dramatic performance on the first weekend of the summer encampment, after which the spirit of Care, slain by the Jinx hero, was solemnly cremated. The ceremony serves as a catharsis for pent-up high spirits and to present symbolically the salvation of the trees by the club. The Cremation of Care was separate from other Grove plays in 1913 and moved to the first night to become an exorcising of the demon to ensure the success of ensuing 2 weeks. The Grove play was moved to the last weekend of the encampment. The ceremony takes place in front of an owl shrine. The moss and lichen covered statue simulates a natural rock formation, yet holds electrical and audio equipment within it. For many years, a recording of the voice of club mentor Walter Cronkite.
I was going to say it was Walter Cronkite that did the voice of it.
This is Walter Cronkite.
I think they should change that. They should totally let in James Earl Jones or Samuel
That
L.
would be
Jackson
cool.
or Samuel Jackson.
That would be
So he
cool.
could just drop an MF every 5 seconds.
So I'm going to post while you're doing this. I'm going to post a picture of this owl effigy on
Right.
our page.
So let me just continue. Music and pyrotechnics accompanied by the ritual of the dramatic event. So let's get into the cremation of care and what it actually means. So they have this effigy, which is an effigy is something that looks human, correct? In a sense. And what they do is they
resembles something else.
From what I've read, they float this thing in a raft across a river and up to this owl effigy, and then they burn it.
Mm-hmm.
So let's try to in our heads Masonically, because we all break down our own ritual.
Mm-hmm.
Let's break down this ritual and let's go through what we think. So Ken, why don't you lead it off on what you're thinking that this particular thing may mean? And it could be sinister. You could say no, it's not sinister. You could say whatever the hell you want. It's
so
your world. I just live in it.
Based on based on what I know of like some of the founding members of this club. To me, I don't think it's sinister. I think it's just a dramatic play, right? Because originally, and this may not so much be the case anymore, but originally, in addition to having very powerful members of society that were members of this club, it was originally bohemian based, right? There were a lot of artists.
Yes.
There were a lot of
musicians.
People that were involved in theater and stuff like that. So it kind of makes sense that there would be some kind of, we're all going to get together in the woods. We're going to hang out, party and drink and I don't know, occasionally discuss business and stuff like that. But it's a closed society that only these powerful individuals, are members of. At the very end, we're going to do, or at the very beginning, in some cases, we're going to do this big cathartic thing where, we all gonna kind of get to revel around this big thing that happens by torchlight, because as we know, fire is kind of mesmerizing. It does something to the human consciousness. Fire! And of course, fire! Yeah, and you got a bunch of people that are involved in theater, so they know how to like convey emotion through these kind of ritualized things. So it kind of makes sense to me that this kind of thing would evolve. Didn't necessarily have to be in front of a giant owl or have to be a burning coffin, but there was always going to be something like that involved in something called the Bohemian Club, I think. So I think, the fact that some people, occasionally these insurgents come in and take video footage of these things and show it out of context and be like, oh, look at these guys are totally in robes and therefore worshiping the devil or a part of the Sith or whatever. Like that's just what happened. Is the same thing, just like you said. It's the same thing that would happen if somebody walked into a Masonic degree, especially the ones that are performed outdoor by torchlight or something like that. When you're seeing that kind of weird ritualized stuff in the shadows, it automatically looks evil to an outsider. So that's my thing. I think it's just it's a play,
right? No
different than a Scottish Rite degree.
What's your brother Joe?
Yeah, so if I'm the picture I just posted on the podcast page, to me, first thing I say thinking is like looks like an Iron Maiden concert or something like that. People, you've got this big thing in the back there that
right.
kind of looks like an owl, but again, to me, I don't think there's anything nefarious going on. To me, it's like a kickoff ceremony, almost no different than the opening of the Olympics, where they run the torch out and they light the big torch. They do this, and from what I understand, this cremation of the cares, you get a little note card or a piece of paper and you write something on it. Okay, and then as you walk through, you throw it and you burn it. It's just symbolic of, while I'm here, all my cares are gone. I'm going to leave everything behind for these 2 weeks and just concentrate on this. At one time it was probably like a festival type thing and just have fun. But to me, it's just a symbolic of I'm detaching from the outside world for, I think they said it was a 2-week festival. I'm detached from my cares. I'm detached from the outside world. It's about here. It's about now. And embracing that. I think that's all it is. It's really cool, though.
And I think I'm right in line with you because, I look at it a couple things. One of the things I always loved to do when I was a kid was go to my grandfather's cabin in Vermont. He had a cabin in Warren, Vermont, and it was in the middle of friggin' nowhere. There was no stores around. It was a 20-minute drive to the nearest town. And one thing I loved is that to get out of your again, I was a kid, but I would have loved to in my adult life. Like you got a cabin somewhere way up north, where there's nothing around. And that's you've talked about it before, where you said that this is my haven. This is where I get away from everything. And I think about it in terms of all these powerful people and famous people, and they're on, whether it be TV, camera, politics, movie stars, whatever the case may be. They live a very structured, serious life where every single day they're doing something.
And
so
everything they say and do is monitored.
Yep.
They have to be very cautious.
Right.
Words matter, and they have to be very cautious about everything they say and do. And for 2 weeks, they get to just say, "Screw that! I'm not worried about it, and I'm going to go pee on some trees."
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And honest to God, like, it's for people who live high stress lives, whether it be former presidents or politicians, senators, whatever the case may be. You live a high stress life. It's constant stress. When you're not dealing with foreign affairs, you're dealing with domestic affairs. When you're not dealing with domestic affairs, you're putting this fire out, that fire out. Oh my God, my campaign's up again. So now I have to go through the whole campaigning and fundraising process. Like, it's a busy life. So for me, this 2 weeks is like, yeah, they call it the cremation of care because you're literally burning your cares away. You're symbolically burning everything and saying, you know what? I don't care this week. Right. I don't care. Exactly. I'm not answering my phone. I'm shutting my shit off. Mm-hmm. I just want to be left the hell alone. And we're going to sit here and I'm going to pee in the woods because realistically, a politician just can't let's just say he's from DC. You can't go over to the reflection pool and just take a whiz in the water. But going out to the woods,
not since Clinton.
But honestly, like, going into the woods and just there's no structured bathroom. There's no you're just a normal human getting back to your I guess you would say your carnal instinct of just being a normal freaking Homo sapien animal, in
a protected location.
You don't have to
worry about those kinds of things.
Now the whole thing is, why do they have so much security? Well, you got some pretty high profile people there.
Absolutely.
They're not paparazzi up in there.
I mean, not even paparazzi. I'm thinking of like somebody who wanted to take out the whole upper end of the freaking government.
Right. Or Alex Jones. Like,
you know what I mean? Like,
security has
to be there. Yep. It makes sense.
And just think now.
I mean, I think about it in terms of, let's say one of us ran for an office, a political office.
It's not going to be me.
Potentially in the state of Connecticut.
Okay.
But got to that high stature where now he needs a security force. One of us needs a security. It can be any member of Morningstar, but he needs that security force. Well, guess what? They're probably going to be here at Morningstar too.
Yeah,
they might not be allowed in the door,
right? But you
bet your ass they're going to be standing in the stairwell,
absolutely
waiting,
right?
So
now think if you're one of the most powerful or rich people in the world, you're going to need a little extra security on there,
right?
So what's precedent for this too? You guys are familiar with Burning Man? Have you heard about that festival? Okay,
is that the one where Nicolas Cage got cooked and the freaking all the chicks were around him? That was Wicker Man. No, never mind. Okay. Continue on.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that movie. No, this is a festival that happens yearly. I don't know what's going to happen with COVID, but it's a big, huge kind of artsy, bohemian kind of festival out in the middle of the desert. And there are a lot of powerful people that go to that, right? Like Silicon Valley type people, like, I'm out. Old Muskie is there. And there are it costs a lot of money to go and do this.
Right.
And there are a lot of people that are like performance artists and stuff that spend insane amounts of money to build these giant machines only to burn them at the end. But part of what they do is there's like a memorial kind of thing where you'll write on a slip of paper, much like they do where they're writing their cares at the Cremation of Care festival and burning them away. You'll write a little memorial about somebody who you loved who passed away or something over the previous year. And that entire structure, which is the centerpiece of the entire festival, gets burned at the end of the festival every year.
Cool.
So
it's actually pretty cool to see this.
And that's more public. Like you can go on YouTube and see, you can go to that festival. It's not like Bohemian Grove, but it's so similar that's kind of what makes me think that that's all the Cremation of Care thing is. It's not double.
So you guys want to dive down the rabbit hole?
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm ready.
The owl.
Okay.
So let's talk about the owl.
Okay.
Why an owl? Well, this is what I found. And this is going to be like, oh, shit. At least it was for me. This is the symbology of an owl. And this is from pure-spirit.com. And it says, owls live within the darkness, which includes magic, mystery, and ancient knowledge. Related to the night is the moon, which owls are also connected to. It becomes a symbol of the feminine and fertility with the moon's cycles of renewal. Even in mythology, relates to owls to even mythology relates owl to this wisdom and
Femininity.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The owl was a symbol for Athena, the goddess of wisdom and strategy, before the Greeks gave her pantheon human forms. According to myth, an owl sat on Athena's blind side so that she could see the whole truth. In ancient Greece, the owl was a symbol of higher wisdom and was also the guardian of the Acropolis. Diana, the Roman response to Athena, was strongly associated with the moon and also the owl. The Pawnee and the Sioux saw the owl as a messenger to the first of all evil creatures, which the Lakota tribe
Mhm.
had an owl society where warriors fought primarily at night and painted dark rings around their eyes because they believed that they would allow them to have the owl's acute vision. But I thought that the wisdom and the femininity.
That's very interesting. I knew the wisdom tie. I had not heard the femininity tie.
And that started ringing alarm bells in my head because we've talked about masonry having a lot of feminine
Symbols,
symbology,
ties,
or
yeah.
even underlying things. So I thought that was quite interesting. So
You ready for me to go all shallow here?
yeah.
Also, owls live in Northern California in the redwood forests.
Okay. All right. That could be
They just
part of the
live
reason
there.
why they picked it.
From the redwood forest,
Um,
the Gulf Stream water.
I had to go
Jesus.
anti-esoteric there for a second.
Right.
But also,
But I found that interesting though, like that there was a female intonation I cannot talk today. Intonation.
Intonation.
Thank you. We're gonna work on this. We're gonna work on this. You know what? I quit.
I don't even know what we're looking for, but it's the closest
No,
I can
but-
think of.
no,
I
but
found
even Merlin, who was considered wise and tied into magic and mysticism,
Was he the one
he had an
guarding
owl.
was he the one on the he was the one on the bridge, right? What is your quest?
Yes,
What is your favorite color?
he had.
Blue. No, get out!
Archimedes was his owl.
Right. I mean, we talked about it actually last podcast. We talked after the last podcast. It was our little conversation afterward about a certain movie that HR likes, Clash of the Titans. They
Oh
have a
yes,
little owl
with
in
the
that
little,
one. It's a little like
the little mechanical.
What was
owl,
that owl's name anyway?
like Bebop.
Boop, boopy, beep, boop.
It's like your middle name.
Boobo?
Bebo, Bobo.
Boobo? Okay, Boobo.
Uh,
That was great.
but but I thought that was interesting that they're talking a couple things. Number one, it flat out talks about well, you think about it, if you're taking your cares and you're bringing it to a cycle which includes like a ancient knowledge and everything, and then relates to the moon and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's like in a sense you're burning your cares to cycle, like a moon cycle. So it's like tomorrow, it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Like it's all done and over with. I thought that was an interesting little connection. And then when I seen the wisdom not so much wisdom, because most secret societies take their, I guess, kind of their underlying thing from ancient societies, right? Ancient secret societies or ancient
histories.
knowledge.
Yep.
But the feminine thing that kind of caught me. I wasn't expecting that. What do you got, Ken?
Nothing. I mean, part of it is you have to unburden yourself, and I think the fact that you were talking about these politicians and stuff that can go and pee on trees and stuff, and kind of forget about how stressful their lives are for a little bit. They're unburdening themselves,
right?
And it's cyclical in that they do it once a year,
Mm-hmm.
and then they go back to their normal lives after that.
Right.
They're not peeing in the reflection pool the day
I mean,
after, right? So it's like that's psychologically healthy for these people. If
Right.
you don't do stuff like that once
Mhm.
in a while, if I don't unplug from my day-to-day job and go off into the woods
Right.
for like 1 week every year, I'm going to be a really upset person.
That, and you're going to lose.
Right.
You're going to lose yourself. You're going to lose who you are.
Yep.
And you just kind of be totally influenced by your surroundings and your environment. And at some point, that's going to take over. But once you remove yourself from that environment and remove yourself from all those outside influences, then you return to your true self, and you need to reconnect to that true self frequently.
Yep. So I
Agreed.
also discovered a list of It's called the List of Grove Plays. So this Cremation of the Cares is not the only play that's done.
No, I think that's like the opening ceremony.
And from what I can tell, all the way from what I have here, this list is 1902 all the way up to 2015. There's a new play every single year. So somebody comes up with a new play. Interesting. So, like, for instance, we got one here. It's called The Owl and the Care, a spectacle, a Triumph of Bohemia, a forest play. And then we get down to more 1942, The American Scene, 1946, Johnny Appleseed. These are the name of the plays. 1995, Marco Polo. 2006, Allegory. 2007, Leprechaun. I hope it's not like that's screwed up. I opened my shit. I opened myself up for that one.
2020, a boy and his puppet.
Get ready, Discord. I find it interesting that none of these things are like talking about, you know, current events or pop culture or anything like that. They seem
wouldn't
to be
want to.
completely,
Right.
They're completely disjointed from that. It's like, we're going to talk about Allegory or the forest or something like
I
that.
walked headfirst into that one.
We're gonna put
So Leprechaun.
We're gonna put a happy little tree right over here.
I walked right into that one. When
I think he
said
needs a
Leprechaun.
friend.
I didn't
He
even
needs a
friend.
friend.
And then 2015, the play was called Kidnapped. And then before that was Rama, Longbow, Tchaikovsky's Mask. Oh,
There are no
Tchaikovsky.
mistakes, only happy accidents.
Atlantis. Pretty cool though.
They sound like
it's
code
not-
names for like Microsoft operating system releases or something. Like
My
Artemis.
personal belief would be that they, much similar to our Scottish Rite degrees, they teach a lesson.
Yep. Yeah, there's got to
be some sort of lesson.
moral lesson involved.
And potentially it may pertain to current events of what's going on in the world.
It could. I mean, like you have the is it the 4 chaplains degree?
Yeah,
Scottish Rite. It's 4 chaplains, right?
4 chaplains. Yep.
Which, you know, it's not current as far as, you know, 21st century, but
Still applies.
It still applies, and it's, you know, somewhat modern times. It's not like it's an ancient
Right.
ancient Egypt or Israel or anything like that. But the lesson is still there, and that's the symbolism behind the moral play, so to speak, is still current in that regard.
Yeah.
There's still something valuable to it.
Let's see here. Greg Schultz. I'm going to start reading back these comments that we're getting here. But I want to start with Greg Schultz. The $1 bill on face side is clear that the owl, the Bohemian Grove's rendered god of Moloch. That's what I was looking. That's what freaking Alex Jones called it, the god of Moloch, is hidden in the upper right-hand corner of every dollar bill, just right over the T.
I think we posted a picture on
yeah,
that
we
last
posted,
episode.
yep.
kind of,
It's there. It looks owl-esque.
Lunatic. That's funny. Greetings from Tennessee, brother. So Motive Bay. Greetings. Thanks for tuning in and watching.
I don't have any $1 bills. Anybody got change for a fortune?
I've only got a 20. My
Just
bad.
kidding.
Did anybody see when I posted on Facebook about what the hell was that guy's name? Oh, I have to find the video. If you're friends with me on Facebook, check out my video. It's for a Donate Life video.
I don't look
It's
at any of your posts.
It's funny as hell, though.
I muted you.
I'm sure you did.
We're taking a break.
Greetings from Orlando, Florida. It's Chuck. Thank you. Greetings. Talking about the Bohemian Grove. If you guys got anything you want to talk about or ask about it, we will certainly try to address as best we can.
But this God of Moloch thing that Alex
Moloch
Jones
was
said. It's a bull.
Fucking bull. It's
It's like a minotaur.
It's
or
a minotaur.
or
Yes. And the best thing is, Moloch was a god that was stolen from another. I think it was the Pharisees. I think I'm gonna have to look it up.
Feces.
God of Moloch.
It kind of, it sounds like it would be from there or maybe from
Yes, it was Baal.
Pakistan.
It was Baal. Like it was another. It was a biblical name for Canaanite god,
Oh,
and that was taken from a prior. So it's very similar. Like
but it has nothing to do with what they're doing.
Has
No,
nothing to do
It's
with
like not even close.
It's
no,
like-
it's a made up.
unless you consider a bull and an owl.
You know what? I'm going to
closely
pull up Moloch and I'm going to show you. I'm going to put it. I'm going to save the image as, and I'm going to put it in the corner of the screen so everybody can see it.
Watch out for Ken's head.
I'm going to put it right over Ken's head. That's what
Put it over
there.
And Joe G, I think, made a comment before that I'll address while you're doing that.
All right.
He's asking what's going on with the podcast room. Is it now a kill room? Because he sees the plastic in there.
We got like the Dexter thing going on over here.
It's there's some construction going on one of the walls in the podcast room. So if you see that,
I'm looking
that
for the
tarp
image.
up
So
there.
bear with me.
Right now, the image from the Denver airport is up.
Here we go. That's Moloch. That's Moloch. It doesn't look anything like the friggin' owl that's at Bohemian Grove.
It looks like he's saying it's a trap.
Not even if you're Alex Jones high on LSD does that look like.
No,
to me.
no.
He did hang out with Charlie Sheen quite a bit. He might have had better stuff than that.
Maybe.
Yeah, but anyway, no, it doesn't. It doesn't even apply. This was something. See, this is the problem when you deal with InfoWars, and when you deal with, and I'm sure whatever will get assist and deceased for this one, but I don't care. This is the problem when you listen to this shit because
just burn that care. Write Alex Jones on a piece of paper and we'll burn it.
Burn at the Cremation of Care.
Him and Carly Franz.
But anyway, see, this is the problem when you get somebody who's trying to link multiple things together to make everything evil or bad, especially when they don't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like gun control.
It's like the opposite of the golden.
Sorry,
no politics. All right, listener said no politics
again. But anyway, let's
HR is shaking its head over there.
We need an HR timeout. You gotta get an HR
Calling lawyers.
timeout.
I think there's a video involved.
Next thing you're gonna see red flags flying through.
It's like
here.
every 6 months we get shut down.
But anyway, yeah, this Moloch guy, it's not what it is.
Moloch is bollocks.
Yeah,
to our English friends.
See here. Good day from Nowra, New South Wales. Oh, damn, what's going on,
Good day,
brothers?
mate.
Holy shit. Glad to have you.
It's like sleepy time over there right now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
More or less.
Pretty much.
I think so.
Early
No, South
morning,
Wales is what? It's England, so...
No, New South Wales is actually Australia,
right? Yeah.
Completely different continent.
All right.
Well, they were British.
It's winter there now.
Have you heard the way I've spoken all freaking podcast?
There is a Wales
today.
There
I'm
is a
just trying to help
Wales
you out,
over
brother.
in Great Britain.
Yes.
New South Wales. It's kind of like New England.
All right.
That's like saying, "Oh, New York, that's in England."
Yeah.
Jim Delvaney. Haha, Raph is stressing out right now. Oh, yeah, I'm getting a phone call. Mark my words. I'm getting a phone call within the next 20 to 30 minutes.
What's wrong with Raph?
It's not like we're swearing excessively.
Because I suck today. Like, I'm terrible.
Right, but that's not a surprise.
It's part of the charm.
It's part of, yeah. I mean, every time,
Something.
every time you try to read something, it goes south.
Wonder if Eyes Wide Shut was inspired by Bohemian Club, Greg Schultz.
Well, that's a good question.
I would have to say yes.
That was a creepy movie.
Never
Yeah.
saw it.
Oh man,
Weird.
You should check it out.
Yeah.
Creepy,
I mean, part of it was kind of
freaking
cool. Like they
weird.
had that scene where like everybody was at one of those masquerade ball things. Like masquerade balls are
Right.
pretty cool.
Those
I
are
don't think
pretty-
those are creepy. But everything else about that movie, creep show.
Yeah, I'm not a big Tom
Now,
Cruise
let me ask
guy.
a question. I can't remember, but the movie From Hell, where it was talking about Jack the Ripper, was there a
Yes.
similar scene in there too? Where they were like wearing masquerade masks?
Maybe.
Probably.
Maybe I
It
haven't seen that
happened-
movie in years.
It happened in
but
Victorian times, so it's very
Right.
possible.
Yeah, it was pretty popular.
7 a.m. Matt Crow
Saturday
says.
night.
Oh,
so it's
okay.
morning. over
Good
there.
morning.
God, good morning.
Good day.
Thank you for being up at 7 a.m. and listening to us hooligans because I sure shit wouldn't be up listening.
I
to
wasn't
me.
even up at 7 a.m. I'm not prepared to hear anything at that hour.
James Rafferty, I don't care because I have to deal with it. Nice. Anyway, I don't. Getting back on the Bohemian Grove thing, I don't think it's anything nefarious or bad or anything like that. I think it's honestly people in high positions who go somewhere for 2 weeks, in a sense, kind of their vacation to get away from the stresses of their life. I'm not seeing anything bad going on there.
No. I see it as my weekly vacation, or my weekly. I wish my yearly vacation up to New Hampshire to unplug and get away from everything, unless there is other evidence brought to light. I mean, based on what we've seen already, I'm willing to say
it's really not all that different than that monastic
woods.
retreat I went on for 3 days. I
Yeah.
unplugged from everything for 3 days.
And I don't think it's that far different from Freemasonry, to be honest with you. Let me be clear. We are not the same. Bohemian Grove and Freemasonry are two totally different things.
But there could be two fraternities based on ancient mysteries and ancient knowledge that there's going to be some
or even
crossover.
Teaching a lesson.
Right.
I mean, Scottish Rite teaches lessons. You know, everybody thinks that, Scottish Rite, the double-headed freaking bird and 33rd, and they're doing crazy stuff. No, they're just teaching lessons.
It could just be an in-person theatrical version of that old show, Davy and Goliath, where there was always the lesson at the end.
Right.
With the little dog, gee, Davy, what would Jesus do?
What year did that come out?
Oh my God, that was like stop motion animation from like early to mid 70s. The Schultz brothers will know what I'm talking about.
You were about 21.
Shut up, Dick.
I'm willing to think that it's completely benign. The whole Bohemian Grove thing is completely benign, unless at some point they do one of these ritual things with a giant owl and a hole rips down to hell and demons start spewing out. Otherwise, I retain my original.
Otherwise, it looks like a ghost video.
It just looks like a ghost video.
I think we talked about it.
Yeah, I watched it I showed my son the other day because he named his kitten Ghost, and I was like, you know what? You got to see this artist. They're not Masons, but they sing a song about Masonry, and he's like, oh, I kind of like the beat.
Which one was this?
Ghost. It's
Are you on the Square?
Hammer.
Oh, Square and Hammer.
Yeah. Square Hammer.
Yeah. Really? Yeah. Ghost is the other band that sings Danse Macabre too.
Yeah. They're cool, but they're not. As far as
they're not. No, they're actually Satanists.
Yeah, they're kind of.
Oh, really?
They're a little bit.
Yeah, Garrett Wright had some interaction with the lead singer, and he's like a full-on Satanist.
Well, I mean, they
initially was thinking of getting him on the show.
Yeah, they stole some Masonic references and stuff for that song. And whenever we do a work day at our lodge, at my home lodge,
Raph, this is your message.
Yeah, don't reach out to them. But we do blast that music because it's kind of heavy metal and it gets you all pumped up to watch the
heavy metal with like a Munsters kind of vibe. Yeah. You do remember the Munsters, right?
Yeah, I remember the Munsters.
Yeah,
I watched the reruns after the show went off the air. You probably.
I watched the reruns too. I wasn't alive when that show came out. I might have been around for some of the later specials, but
are public documents and birth records available? Are they public knowledge?
No, I don't think it's public knowledge.
What, you want to see my birth certificate? I'll bring my birth certificate.
Is it chiseled in stone? It might be heavy to get up the stairs.
Shut up. Just a copy of it.
Well, I'm starting to get my wheels going now.
Yeah, your training wheels, you little bastard.
There you go.
Nicely
done. Well done.
One thing I would like to cover, and I think we've talked about it before, was I always talk about that. Things don't just pop out of nowhere. The mafia didn't just pop out of nowhere. It was always something that was a precursor to the actual organized mafia. Mm-hmm. Freemasonry just didn't pop out anywhere. So Bible stories just didn't pop out anywhere. It's my opinion. It came from a prior, kind of just dabbled on it a little bit. I think it came from something prior, down the line. Yeah. I would love to do an episode, and maybe we have to do some research on this, but try to dig up things maybe from ancient Greece or Rome or Egypt that blend that could have a direct link to lessons that are taught in Freemasonry today.
Oh, I'm sure we can find.
I would love to do an entire episode on that. Like you take Rome, you take Egypt, or I'll take whatever, and try to tie it into not try to tie it in.
You'll take Munchkin Land.
I mean, in all honesty, it shouldn't be that difficult because Freemasonry does take.
They're all junior wardens.
And we take a lot of our very basic lessons from.
Right.
I mean, simple stories that go back, that they're archetypal, that go all the way back to ancient religions and ancient societies and stuff. So I don't think that'll be a challenge at all.
Right. And I don't think Freemasonry really does this. I mean, unless you're part of like
philosophical lodge research
or something like that. But again, it's not, nobody joins. I don't want to say nobody joins it, but not very many Masons join it. They only come to lodge to do ritual and fellowship with the brothers, charity events. Mm-hmm. There's a very, very, very select few of Masons that go back and be like, well, I want to learn where this all came from.
Yeah. There's like a handful in my lodge that are into that scholarly research into Freemasonry type thing.
So I would love to actually, and it's going to be one hell of a dive down that rabbit hole, because when we talk to the Leeds Light Boys, and even Danny Collins, some of our other British listeners and Discord guys, the ritual over in England and some of the grips and signs and words is completely different than here. So we would have to actually probably go all the way to English Masonry, and kind of see if we can tie in their grips and words and stuff, because their words and their grips are not like American. So I don't know. I think that would be a fun thing to kind of dive into.
Tracing the golden thread.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just look at.
I would love to do that.
Look at how many of these beautiful, large Grand Lodge buildings or temples in certain places. Almost everyone has an Egyptian room.
Right.
There's a reason why.
Right.
A lot of them have, a Greek themed room or a Roman themed room. There's got to be reasons there, and there's got to be symbolism within those rooms.
I would even go to challenge that. And again, we've kind of dabbled on prior episodes about the Knights Templar and their Masonic connection, and I've drawn as many connections as I possibly can, as well as Scott Walters talked about it. He's been on the show multiple times. Janet's talked about it.
He's got 2 more, and he gets a jacket.
2 more, and he gets the leather.
Yeah,
he gets
exactly.
the leather
jacket.
Is it leather? I thought we were going like a.
Well, we're gonna do like the Yankees. How they got like the felt, and then it's the leather arms.
Oh,
yeah.
We'll do like the 2-tone jacket.
I was picturing more of like a members only bomber jacket.
No,
but if that's the case, Ken's got to get him some aviators too, then, right?
For 3 episodes, the man gets like a legit leather jacket.
Okay, like a varsity jacket.
Right.
Yeah. Varsity
Joseph Schultz, English, Irish, and Scottish Grand Lodges influenced U.S. Freemasonry, and James Delaney wrote the Roman Eagle. Yeah, we talk about that right in our ritual.
Yeah.
So that's interesting how they bring.
And the Golden Fleece is mentioned there.
Fleece, right.
So
There's very little talk about ancient Egypt in any of the Blue Lodge ritual here in the United States, and the fact that there are in Blue Lodge purpose-built Masonic buildings these Egyptian rooms kind of makes you wonder, right? You got to go back and do your research and start looking at the esoteric aspects of Freemasonry and kind of trace that thread back in a scholarly way in order to find those references, because there aren't any in our ritual.
Right. And I know this is only going to be for the viewers and not so much the listeners, but you can imagine what I'm doing. But the actual one of the signs for the Master Mason degree changed after the American Revolution. Again, the English one I'm not too familiar with, but I know it's different. I know what it is. Excuse me, I do know what it is, and it's completely different than the Americans' Master Mason degree. But the Americans changed it right as the boats were leaving the New York Harbor in, what is it, 18...
You mean when the British left?
1785 or something like that, when the British were leaving?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they changed the grip. Yeah, it's the sign they changed it to. The fingers under the chin, flicking them over. Get out of here. No.
We're gonna make our own brand of Freemasonry.
Right, realistically,
you were saying.
Joking aside, I mean, I'm kind of cracking on the British guys who are going to roast me later in Discord because of my leprechaun comment later.
Anyway.
It's going to happen anyway. But I mean, realistically, I wonder about that, because again, when we talked to the Leeds Light Boys, I was mind blown. What the hell is that? He's like, well, that's our sign. Wait, what? Clearly. And I want to know how that change occurred. I want to know why ours is so different than theirs and words are so different than theirs. So,
and yet our Grand Lodges still recognize each other and we can communicate Masonically, but there's a lot of difference there. Yeah, the why behind it is. I think that'll be
interesting.
I think that'll be a good episode to actually reel it all back to the beginning.
And a quick little assignment: you mentioned our Discordians, which, by the way, you can join and have access to Discord for as little as $3 a month by joining our Patreon page. Again, for as little as $3 a month, you can give much more if you'd like. But for that, you get exclusive access to Patreon content, this Discord page where you can chat with us via text, video, or phone call, and the rumored and ever elusive gold tone Freemasons podcast pen.
Soon to arrive.
It's all yours for as little as emphasis on little, $3 a month. But while we're on our Discord, go ahead.
While we're on that, I'm going to give our shout outs to our new Patreons. We just had 3 in the last week, I think.
Yeah.
Sweet. I wonder if I write up in the Scottish Rate blog.
Sterling, Mike Cassidy Jr., Adrian Poyser. I want to thank them for joining, as well as all of our other Discordians.
Welcome aboard.
Joe, lead them.
Oh, I got a charge.
Oh no!
Are you
Toast
charged?
to our
Slow
new
on the
Discord
update.
boys.
And while we're getting the cannons charged in the line, I have a little assignment for our resident artiste, Peter Daigle. I'd like to see a nice little Freemason podcast, Bohemian Grove theme, but instead of the big giant owl, it's Puppet George. We're on the ground in front of it,
A giant wooden
burning copies of Masonic newspapers because some of you like to do that.
Right.
Yeah,
What is that? Crown Royal?
Crown Royal Reserve.
yeah.
It's nice.
That's why I didn't shudder last time we did a toast.
Nice.
Brothers, right hand to arms.
To arms.
Ready.
Ready.
Aim.
Aim.
Fire, good fire, fire all. Together, brothers.
Vivat, vivat, vivat. I'll bet the Bohemian Grove guys can't top that. That's a purely Freemasons podcast toast right there.
I think we make a
Copyrighted.
parody video of Bohemian Grove with
I
just us. And he's
Oh,
our
I
effigy.
Yeah.
Papa George. He's
We
our
can do
effigy.
that.
We just can't set him on fire, though.
Can we like take a picture of him and like project it on a big sheet or something?
we can dress up in robes. You know,
I
we
have
could
a-
probably-
Actually,
yeah, I got
Walmart
some
allows you
ideas
to
there.
make the poster board
I have
pictures.
a
We'll take
Jesus
picture of him.
costume. I mean, Jedi costume. I got in trouble when I called it Jesus.
We'll green screen it in. I think we could make this up.
I think we can make this happen.
Yeah.
I've got an
And
owl.
we'll
I've
just
got
do
this
it
really
instead
cool
of-
owl mask too.
Instead of doing it, we'll just do it in Joe's backyard. Oh, wait, Ken's backyard. He's got all the trees missing now.
Oh yeah, because my neighbors are gonna love that shit.
Can we burn stuff in your
A couple of them
backyard?
already hate me. Yeah, I mean we could.
Oh, shit.
And there's got to be a state park we could sneak into after
No,
hours. And
we
burn
can
things.
we can make this happen.
We'll make it happen. We'll figure something else.
We must know some like Naugatuck police or somebody that can help us out. Just saying.
We do.
I
But,
know
I
we
mean, we just kind of did a
You don't
little
want to have to
picnic
call those
for
favors. And,
police.
come on, that's
Like,
yeah.
hey,
No,
yeah, I know
more
we
of
made
it-
you hamburgers and hot dogs, but can we burn some shit in your
It's
backyard?
not necessarily a favor. It's hey, we're planning on
Alex
doing
Jones may
this.
show up. It'll be fine.
We're planning on doing this. If somebody calls, we're not asking that you not respond, but can you just slow it down a little? Give us time to film and get out.
And you know what we'll do?
Take our scary robes off.
Got it. We'll even do it. We'll even add the Alex Jones videotape in there, except we'll use Rocco, and we'll have him just either stoned out of his mind, or we'll put him on roller skates trying to walk through the woods. So
How
he
about we
just
put him in
fall
a-
over? So it's like Alex Jones almost falling out
How
of the
about we
canoe
put him in
or
a
the
kayak? Put him in a kayak on dry land.
Oh, that's
We
perfect.
can get Rocco involved in this.
I think that would be funny.
How about here's a better idea?
We'll dress up Raph as a bear and have him just walking.
I was going to say an owl.
So
Raph could be the big freaking owl. Put him in an owl costume. Put a sheet over him. I've got an owl mask. We can make this happen.
we're gonna have to brainstorm.
Yes. All right. Let's shut it down,
We
fellas.
need more of these vignettes, though. We need to start doing more of these things.
Yes, we do.
Our
Again, now that the Chinese flu is gone, we don't have to worry about it.
You can't call
Why not? It's from China. Hodge twins, love those
it.
guys.
Mama says
Only some of our guests can call it that.
All right, let's shut it down.
Mama says it's called the Chinese flu because it's from China.
All right, let's shut it down.
All right.
For the Freemasons podcast, I'm Right Worshipful Brother George Marjorie signing off.
Worshipful Brother Joe signing off.
Worshipful Brother Ken signing off.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye bye.
Good night.
Still live on YouTube. Thank you all for tuning in.
Yeah, let's go burn some effigies.
We'll catch you.
Burn
Hope
some stuff.
you guys enjoyed the show. And
Can we play Disco Inferno in the background when we're burning stuff?
I don't see why not. It's our show.
Or we go
What's up?
Talking Heads. burning
fire! All right, that song.
We have a whole we could do that. We could do Burning Down the House, Talking Heads.
Oh yeah, I love that song.
All right, let's shut it down. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, YouTube.
Good night, YouTube.